They were sanctioned, they were cornered, but now they're building a new road, not through diplomacy or peace, but steel and defiance. Iran and Russia are about to connect their fates through the Rasht-Astara railway, a 162-kilometer line that could change global trade forever. A link in the International North-South Transport Corridor, or the INSTC, designed to slice through continents, bypass the Suez Canal, and shatter the economic chokehold of the West. It's more than a railway. It's a rebellion, engineered in iron, fueled by sanctions, and aimed straight at Washington. So the question is this how Iran and Russia are fighting back against America and the West's sanctions? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. As the US doubles down on sanctions, Iran and Russia are striking back with rails, ports, and pipelines. Tehran calls it a turning point for regional connectivity. Moscow calls it a declaration of independence from Western roots. And together, they're reviving a trade artery that predates empires, from the Persian Gulf to the Baltic. But here's the twist. Is this defiance just survival or the start of a new anti-Western economic bloc backed by China? Let's break it down. This 162-kilometer stretch between Rasht and Astara isn't just concrete and steel. It's the missing link in a geopolitical jigsaw. Once completed, trains will roll uninterrupted from Iran's southern ports all the way to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and beyond into northern Europe. The route forms the beating heart of the International North-South Transport Corridor, the INSTC, a 7,200-kilometer network that slashes trade costs by 30% and cuts travel time from 37 days to just 19. That's almost half the time of the Suez Canal route. For Tehran and Moscow, that's not just logistics, it's liberation. Two sanctioned economies, both forced to the periphery, now building a corridor that runs right through the heart of Eurasia. This isn't cooperation, this is confrontation by construction. The railway doesn't just move cargo, it moves power. Russia's not only paying, it's building. Its engineers, its expertise, its strategic hand guiding every kilometer of the track. 4 years of work to finish what history once paused. Because this route isn't new, it's ancient. So yes, this is Iran and Russia fighting back, but it's more than retaliation, it's reinvention. A land bridge between the Indian Ocean and the Arctic Circle. One that rewires how goods, gas, and geopolitics flow. The corridor transforms both nations from pariahs to pillars, not of the Western order, but of a parallel one. Let's talk about timing. The Rasht-Astara deal comes as Iran and Russia begin implementing their 20-year Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty signed in January 2025. That's not just paperwork, it's policy. Trade, energy, defense, infrastructure, all bound together in one long-term alliance. When Moscow and Tehran talk about strategic depth, this is what they mean. Rails that connect economies, roads that bypass sanctions, ports that never sleep. And here's the irony. The more the US tightens sanctions, the faster this corridor moves. The message is clear. Every time Washington tries to isolate them, they build another bridge. The INSTC itself isn't new. It was envisioned back in 2000 by India, Iran, and Russia as a way to link Mumbai to Moscow via Tehran and the Caspian Sea. But it languished in bureaucracy and geopolitics for 2 decades. Now sanctions have breathed life into it. What began as a trade route has turned into a geopolitical weapon, and every kilometer of new rail tightens its grip on Eurasia's future. But here's where the story widens: China. Beijing's support for the North-South corridor within the framework of its Belt and Road Initiative carries enormous weight. After pouring billions into Pakistan's Gwadar port to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, China now sees this corridor as the perfect complement to its own trade network. It's not just about logistics, it's about leverage. For Beijing, linking the INSTC with the BRI means building a seamless land bridge from the South China Sea to the Baltic. And in doing so, it brings together three heavyweights: China, Russia, and maybe India if BRI is not a part of it, since it's a very sensitive issue for India. But each with different ambitions, one shared goal: to escape the chokehold of Western sanctions. This convergence could blunt the impact of US and EU restrictions on Iran, reshaping Eurasian trade flows beyond Washington's control. How far will the West let this partnership go before it strikes back? And let's not forget, while the US tries to isolate Iran and Russia, Beijing welcomes them into BRICS, into the SCO, into shared platforms that reject Western sanctions as illegitimate. It's a silent revolt, one railway at a time. But there's another piece of the puzzle: Afghanistan. Russia's early recognition wasn't about ideology, it was about infrastructure. A stable, cooperative Afghanistan means uninterrupted transit routes for Moscow's Eurasian dream. And Iran? It's already building roads and energy links to Afghanistan, hoping to anchor the country's trade eastward, not westward. If Kabul joins the INSTC, it won't just be a passenger, it'll be a pivotal junction. And let's be clear, this isn't just about trade, this is about power projection. The US built its empire on oceans. Iran and Russia are now building theirs on land. The corridors they're constructing redefine connectivity and sovereignty. A ship can be sanctioned, a bank can be frozen, but a railway that runs from Tehran to Moscow, that's a lifeline no aircraft carrier can blockade. The US sanctions regime, the so-called maximum pressure policy revived by Donald Trump, was designed to cripple economies. Instead, it's forging alliances. Iran's oil exports may have dropped, Russia's tech imports may have slowed, but together they're building something sanctions can't stop: infrastructure.